After one of the craziest weeks in the history of the Marlins franchise, it's time to get back to business. The Marlins are back, and they'll be playing in Baltimore tonight. Whether it's right or not, we've got baseball to cover, and I'm back to do it. What's going on, guys? It's Ethan Budowsky here, and we're going to be discussing the Marlins lineup today and the makeshift roster that they have put together after a week unlike any other. It's certainly something that I guess we expected, something that we didn't have to do, though. The way this has gone down has just been unbelievable, and I guess it's part of the season. The MLB has always said it was going to be part of the season. It doesn't have to be part of the season, but nonetheless, here we are. So the Marlins had 18 players test positive for COVID-19 in the past week and a half or so, obviously led to a shutdown of the season. And they did not play all last week. They haven't played since last Sunday in Philadelphia. They have a 2-1 record. They still sit atop the National League East because none of the other teams have been able to get their winning percentage above .667. And now they head to Baltimore to take on the lowly Orioles. And they do it with a roster that, like I said, is very makeshift. It's thrown together. Lots of acquisitions in the past few days trying to piece together the bullpen. The bullpen seems to be the part of the team that was hit the hardest. I believe 8 of the 18 positive tests were from the bullpen. We still don't know which players tested positive. We still don't know which players are going to be in the lineup. We don't know who is in the traveling party that has gone to Baltimore. But we do know who will be joining the team and who will be going forward in the Marlins lineup this year. So it's time to take a look at that and get ready to play some baseball because, like I've said before, the Marlins are going to keep chugging, and Major League Baseball seems that they're going to keep chugging along, certainly. So as long as they do that, I have the job to do to keep chugging along with them. And whether I think it's right or wrong, it's what I got to do. So here we are. Let's get going, folks. Let's take a look. Let's go to the pad here and take a look at what the Marlins have put together. I think the most notable signing that they made was the signing of utility man Logan Forsyth. He might be a name you've heard around the big leagues before. He's certainly a journeyman. He's played for a few teams, and he's put together a pretty good career. He's been around. He was on the Rays and the Rangers, and he was on another team, but I can't quite remember who. Anyway, Forsyth is his career slash line is 246. 327, 370. He's got a 94 career weighted runs created plus and a 697 career OPS. He's a barely below average hitter, and he can play all around the field. So he's a guy certainly that will fill a role for the Marlins. You know, if you need a guy that can play any position and can play all around the infield to sub in for whoever we lost, we don't know who we lost yet. So he's a plug-and-play guy that the Marlins can do, and he's certainly a he's certainly a serviceable MLB hitter. So Forsyth, I think, was a nice veteran pickup for the Marlins. His best season was in 2015 when he was with the Rays. He hit 281, 359, 444 with a 125 weighted runs created plus. That was good for an 804 OPS. And he actually had 4.1 WAR that year, wins above replacement. That's a really nice year. Jonathan VR, for reference, put together a 4 WAR year last year. He's got 9.8 total WAR. It was a bit of a struggle in 2019 for him, really kind of a tough year at the plate. He only hit 227, 325, and 353, 75 weighted runs created plus. So weighted runs created plus is based on a scale of 100, so every point below 100 is 1% below average. Every point above 100 is 1% above average. So basically, by that standard, a 75 weighted runs created plus, he was 25% below league average in 2019. So it was a bit of a struggle for Forsyth in 2019. He can play. He's played first. He can play second. He can play third. He might have played some outfield, but third is his best defensive position according to the analytics. He's got 9 defensive runs saved there. So again, a veteran pickup for the Marlins, a guy that can be plug and play. You can put him anywhere in the lineup, and just a veteran addition to the Marlins, a proven MLB hitter. Hopefully he can regain some of the good form that we've seen from him over his career. The next big thing that I want to talk about, obviously, is the prospects. This is certainly the things that's going to get Marlins fans the most juiced up because the young guys are coming. We've been waiting for them for a long time, and they're here. They're arriving. It's certainly not the way that we wanted to see them arrive, but nonetheless, it's happening, and we should be excited. It's a light in this dark time, and certainly the biggest one is Monte Harrison, my boy. He finally he gets the call to the big leagues. Again, not the way we wanted it to happen, but nonetheless, what an exciting time for the Marlins organization. One of your top 10 prospects is coming up, a guy that fans have been waiting for so long, a big piece in the Christian Yelich trade, and he will be making his debut. We expect him to be in the lineup tonight. The lineup has yet to be released, but we expect Monte in the lineup in center field tonight. Mattingly said that when he joins the lineup, he will be the best outfield defender on the team. Can't wait to see Monte. I've talked about him, endlessly. I've beat that dead horse into the ground. Power, speed, flair, stolen bases, home runs. You're going to see it all from him. I can't wait to watch him play. The next guy, let's talk about George Guzman. Very, very excited to see George Guzman here because I think he's going to get a shot the way that Nick Neidert and Jordan Holloway got a shot. He's going to get his shot in the bullpen. And a lot of Marlins fans think that that's the best place for him, that he can be an elite closer in the league. And I think with his power fastball, that thing's going to be cranking up. We're going to see 102. We're going to see 101 consistently from him. I think with the way he can crank that up and then drop it off with a good slider, a really nice slider from Guzman, I think that plays very well out of the pen, especially in the ninth inning. So for now, he's going to start in the bullpen, according to Joe Frisaro. And, maybe the Marlins give him a shot in the starting rotation, depending on how the starters go down. Again, we don't know what the rotation is going to look like. We know Pablo's starting tonight, and Eliezer is starting game 1 tomorrow. I don't know if we've heard the rest of the rotation. So maybe Guzman gets a shot, but I doubt it. I think he'll be in the bullpen most of the year. Another guy that'll probably be in the bullpen, and the bullpen needs some help. Again, 8 guys tested positive from the bullpen, is Humberto Mejia. Mejia is down a bit. He's still a top 30 prospect for the Marlins. He's towards the back end of the top 30, but he's a guy that the Marlins are really high on. He pitched really well in Clinton last year. I don't have the numbers. I should have written them down, but I'm really, really excited about Humberto Mejia. He's kind of one of those control over stuff guys. I'm really happy that he's getting a shot because he's older. I think he's 23 or 24, so it's time. Why not give him a shot? If he's the guy you feel most confident about from the 60-player pool, call him up. Give him the shot. I wouldn't call Sixto up in a bullpen role. I wouldn't call Eddie up in a bullpen role. I think those guys, it's only fair to call them up in a starter role. So it's good that Mejia is getting the shot out of the bullpen, out of all those guys down in Jupiter. Again, Mejia, like Holloway, has not pitched above the high A level. He pitched at Jupiter towards the end of last season. That's the highest he's been. So it'll be interesting to see him adjust to major league hitting. The next big storyline, Yamamoto and Brinson are back. We talked about Monte from the Yelich trade. Isan Diaz has opted out of the season. We won't see him the rest of the year. We respect Isan's decision to do that. He has every right to protect him and his family, and we can't wait to see Isan back next year. So 3 of the 4 guys, we almost saw all 4, but 3 of the 4 guys from the Yelich trade will be in the Marlins lineup here soon. We all know about Brinson, but let's hit the reset button on Brinson. Let's just start over. Clean slate. He didn't start the year here. This is the way it's happening. I don't know how much we would have seen with Brinson if these weren't the circumstances. Nonetheless, he's coming up. Let's hit the reset button. Let's take a breather and just see how he does this year. I'm excited for Lou. I hope that he puts it together, that he has at least a serviceable season because he deserves it. He works hard, and you never want to see a guy go out like that. So certainly Brinson back. Let's hit the reset button, restart, and get excited to see Lewis Brinson in the lineup. Yamamoto, he was nice in the bigs last year. He got that surprise call-up from Double-A after an injury, and he stuck it out in the bigs the rest of the year. I talked about when he was sent down. I did a bit of a reaction video, and I was a bit surprised by it, but I wasn't concerned with it, and now Yams gets the chance to come back up. Let's take a look at some of the numbers from Yamamoto. He had a 1.14 whip last year, which is pretty solid. A 4.51 fielding independent pitching. Think of that as taking some of the defensive factors out of it, and on the same scale as ERA. So not great, but nonetheless. And I think one of the reasons Yamamoto wasn't that great last year, he was good but not amazing, was because the strikeouts were down and the walk percentage was up. And I think that's just adjusting to more disciplined major league hitting. You see very high strikeout rates from him in high A and double A since he came over to the Marlins organization, and low walk rates. I think that's just getting more swings and misses from less disciplined hitters down in the minors. I think Yams will be okay. He was really solid last year, and he had some great starts, especially at the beginning. So I'm really excited about what he can do. I'm really happy that he's back. He had a 25.2 K percentage. That's down from the 30s that we saw in Double A, and he had an 11.1 walk percentage, which is up from around 5, 6, 7 that he was hovering at it in the minors. 9.38 Ks per 9. The most concerning stat is that he had 4.12 walks per 9. Certainly you would like to see those walks go down. That'll jolt those Ks up. But really solid stuff from a guy who was not expected to pitch in the big leagues last year. Yamamoto was really solid. He was just below average if you want to take a look at fielding independent pitching minus, which is basically weighted runs created plus. It's judged on that 100 scale, but above 100 is points below average. He had a 105 fielding independent minus, so just a little bit below average. The next guy on the offensive side of the ball that's coming up that I think a lot of Marlins fans are really excited about is Matt Joyce, another established veteran hitter to add to the lineup to make up for what we think might be some of the losses in the lineup. We're still not sure, again, who is going to be in the lineup. We don't know who tested positive. We don't know if it was Dickerson. We don't know if it was VR. We don't know if it was Brian Anderson. So Matt Joyce is up. We expect to see a lot of him. His career numbers are similar to Forsyth, except he's got a little more on base. He's more likely to get on base, and he's got way more power. 243, 343, 432, 775 OPS career slash line, 114 weighted runs created plus. So he's an above average hitter. He's really a good hitter, and he's got a 17.1 career WAR. So he's a nice player. He really can get it done. Established big leaguer. Again, he's been around the block. He played for the Pirates. He played for the Rays. I think he might have played out in San Diego. I'm not sure. And last year he was with the Braves. His best season was in 2016. He hit 242. The average was down a little bit, but he got on base at a good percentage, 403. He slugged a bunch at 463. He had an 886 OPS. That's the best of his career. A 136 weighted runs created plus. So again, he was 36% above league average. That's really nice from a guy like Matt Joyce. Doesn't have a ton of defensive value, so his WAR was only around 2, but still, nonetheless, that was a really good year. Last year, he was really good, too. You can make an argument that last year was his best year. He was with the Braves, hit 295, 408, 450. He had an 858 OPS and 128 weighted runs created, plus he only played 129 games. So a really, really good year. He's coming off a really good year. And again, another veteran, established big league hitter that the Marlins are going to be adding to their lineup. That's something that they really need. Let's talk about the rest of the guys. Eddie Alvarez is a great story. He's 30. He was an Olympic speed skater, and then he took up baseball after his days in the Olympics were done, and he's going to get a chance. He's going to be a utility guy around the infield. That's really exciting. We're all really happy for Eddie Alvarez. It's a really great story. Let's take a look at the pen, because obviously we talked about the pen was hit hard. The Marlins have made some acquisitions recently to add to the pen. Richard Blyer, James Hoyt, Brian Moran, Mike Morin, Justin Schaefer, Josh A., and Josh D. Smith. Josh Smith and Josh Smith. One is Josh A., one is Josh D., and Nick Vincent. I think Vincent was already in the Marlins organization. The rest of them were acquired off waivers or in trades. Blyer is the guy that has had the best results from what I've seen. He might be the guy Marlins fans might want to be most excited about. And then the last part is Ryan Lavarnway. He's a backup catcher. He's the guy that, Alfaro's down. The Marlins needed another catcher. He has been added to the roster. So there it is. The Marlins makeshift roster all on one piece of paper. We'll have to see what the lineup looks like in terms of the guys that were subtracted. We still don't know. We'll find out in a couple hours, I guess. Game time is pretty soon. So the Marlins should be releasing their lineup soon, but I have not seen it yet. It still hasn't been released. I'm just checking my phone there to make sure. So it hasn't been released yet. We'll find out soon. We'll talk soon about the Marlins' results on the field. We'll certainly talk about Monte and whoever else is coming up and whoever else we see. So the Marlins play the Orioles. They're going to Baltimore for 3 games, and we'll see how it goes from there. I want to take the time to wish every Marlins player that tested positive well. That is the biggest concern. That should be the biggest concern from everybody. This disease is relentless. We don't know the long-term effects of this disease really fully. And we hope with everything that we have that every Marlins player is okay, that it doesn't threaten their career, and that they can return soon and return healthy and finish out the season, because it seems like Major League Baseball is committed to finishing this season. So with heavy hearts, the Marlins get started back tonight in Baltimore.